two Kessens, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. This is not Romeo and Juliet, however. This is Kessen 1 on the old PlayStation 2 and Kessen 2 on the old PlayStation 2. I like these games. So when I saw both of these for sale relatively cheap because of all this menagerie, I said we could fix that. And I said, what the heck? This is actually a really good example of what you normally see from PlayStation 2 games in the used market. This is pretty standard. You go to most used stores, this is pretty much what you're going to see. So, first thing we're going to do is review kind of everything that we're looking at, just to get an idea of what fresh hell awaits us. We'll go over Kessen 1 first. It's a very good place to start. A couple of stickers. We have a newer retro store sticker on the front. We have most likely a GameStop sticker underneath it, probably an old version of a GameStop sticker. Sticker on the cover art. Of course, as always, an older sticker that's on there that has left a bit of the nasty residue. Get some light in there so we can see. Bit of the nasty residue. We'll get rid of all of that. Yeah, I mean, this is also normal. These come off super duper easy. You just soak that paper. As far as the sticker on the cover art goes, it should come off. We might get some label damage. We'll just have to see. Really nothing on the back except for the usual grit and grime. Opening it up. Oh, man. Broken. Now, you can replace these, okay? You can... There's a process to replace these. It's honestly not worth it at this point. It's something that realistically a lot easier if you just swap the cases. Keep these around for a video I will do later. But for the most part, meh. And then we have the disc looking so nice. And we'll check the back. Back's got some swirls, some scratches, but nothing terrible. There you go. And I am planning on making a video of how to highlight the scratches, just to give you guys a kind of an idea of how to take pictures of scratches a little bit better so people can understand what it is that they're looking at. But in the meantime, this one actually works. Works just fine. We won't worry too much about the case. I have a donor case that is going to go in its stead. Also, Amaray, always important to look for those. This case is also in a little bit of rough shape, but it's fully intact. So we're going to give the insides a clean. We're going to clean off this old spooky half-price book sticker. Clean up the back, get rid of whatever that is. Kessen 1 done and dusted. Kessen 2. Looking so nice. Get rid of the stickers in the top corner. It looks like there is one sticker in that top corner there. Should be easy to take off. Nothing on the back, just a little bit of gunk on the back there. And then there was a sticker. Come on, camera. There was a sticker at one time. There we go. You see the residue on that side. Again, pretty normal for PlayStation 2 games. This is the kind of thing you see. Checking the disc. This disc looks kind of fantastic, which is kind of interesting. Let's see if I can catch a couple of scratches here and there. This game also worked, so for me, since it's going into the old personal collection, I'm not really worried about having a mirror finish. A mirror finish is a lot of extra work you can put on the discs. I could do those at any time. But if the game is working and functional and has all its bits and bobs and pieces, is completely intact on the center ring, balances, runs, loads, does everything it's supposed to, no skipping or anything, to me, there's no point in messing with the data side. There's no point in messing with the polycarbonate. There's no point in messing with any of that stuff. Leave her like she is. So on this one, we have a sticker in the top corner to take off, a little bit of cleaning on this side. We'll take out the cover arts and we'll check for mold. Normal as always. So let's get to it. First thing we're going to do on this Kessen, since we're saving the insides but throwing away all the outsides, is we're going to go ahead and take the disc out, put it on my very professional disc storage system. We'll take out the manual. Again, you want to flip through the manual, See if there's any writing, see if there's any mold, especially if there's any mold. Always check by the staples. This is something that's starting to pop up more and more, where you see these staples, you'll start to see rust that'll form. Probably not on PlayStation 2. PlayStation 1, you'll see it every once in a while, unless there's been water damage. And you'll start to see rust start to form next to these staples. So when you get old manuals, trying to remember when Kessen came out. I'm going to read 2000. So year 2000, it's a 22-year-old game. Just check the staples to make sure there's not any rust. I will also be doing a rust video where if you have rusted staples, I'll show you what to do to remove those. That's a whole separate thing. This one looks good though. There probably was a registration card at one time. You can tell by the torn perforations. It's Electronic Arts, but still maybe. Koei Tecmo, so it probably definitely had a registration card. I'm not a registration card hound, so that doesn't really bother me too much, but it is always something to kind of look for. I love, staples look good. I love these old product catalogs. Oh, man. Back in the day. Back in the day. It was just a neat little thing they would throw in that people would be able to look at and review and say, oh, I want these games. Oh, I want those games. And then make a Christmas list. Birthday list, Hanukkah list, Purim list, whatever you want. Easter list. It's Easter and Passover pretty soon. Oh, no! Figures. That doesn't look terrible. We got some light on there. It doesn't look terrible. Let's get some magnification on this little bad boy and see what we're dealing with. Wha-bam! Still remembering and learning all of the buttons. Let me just give it a look first, and then I'll let you guys know what I see. That actually looks like dirt. That actually... Let's see if I can get this on camera in a way that you guys can see. That actually kind of just looks like dirt. I'm not seeing the starburst pattern that I should be seeing. But let's give her a little tickle and see what she does. It's a really great video I'm making where I'm not even talking. This is, I grabbed the bottle of vinegar just because I wasn't sure. A little bit of white vinegar, a little bit of water. Let's see what it does. Yeah. That is mold. Yeah, figures. I have a little UV light on this magnifier, but I don't think it is nearly strong enough to work the way that I want it to. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's not going to be strong enough. Okay. Well, change of plans. Let me get my preferred mixture real quick. I'll do a quick brushing on there. This should clean up really easily. Give me 2 seconds. Through the magic of video, that 2 seconds was really fast. This should be, yeah, it's my white vinegar mix. I should label these. That'd be smart. Half white vinegar, half water. Distilled water just to kind of make things a little bit easier. Same idea, you apply it to the Q-tip. Let's get some zooming in here, get some better light in here. How's that? Okay. I'm gonna roll it on real quick and then dry it real quick. Yeah, and you can see the water damage outline. So it's going up and over and then down and around. So it definitely experienced some water damage at one point. All we're doing on here, oh, that's gonna be a pain and a half. All we're doing on here is just killing off the mold that is there. It honestly doesn't look like it's super recent that it's been active. But we're gonna kill it off just to be safe. The other problem that we're gonna run into with this is that has now softened the paper. So taking the sticker off the cover art, gonna be a little tricky. Not impossible, it's just gonna be kind of interesting how we have to do it. For this time, I am gonna do the heat gun maneuver. I think I have more control over the heat gun maneuver than anything else. I think I like the heat gun maneuver more than the hair dryer just because it's a stronger heat and it's faster and I like it more. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that is or isn't the way you should go. I've done videos with both. So let's get this sticker off. We'll start with there. And we'll see. Come on now. We'll get the sticker off. We'll start with there and we'll see kind of what we're dealing with underneath. Hopefully it's not too bad. Find a good scraper. It's about time actually to swap all these out. Okay. Same idea as normal. Gonna zoom in here. Same idea as normal. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna take the heat gun, heat along like this, and then start to peel up from here. Let me find a different scraper. Actually, do kind of want something with a little bit more control. We'll see how far we get with this. So, I honestly wasn't expecting that much mold, but 300 watt heat gun, mini hot air gun. You want a higher wattage. The hair dryer's, to me, inconsistent. So, turn it on, and then I'm just blowing it against my skin so I get a feeling of when it's hot, and then just move it along the sticker. And this is about, if you're not wearing gloves, this is a really good time to be able to tap it and say, okay, yeah, it's warm. When it is warm to the touch, that's when you know that it's time to kind of get involved. Why didn't I test this before with a scraper to see? I could have. You know, I could have gone in and scraped it a little bit to see kind of what I was doing, but honestly, this sticker is probably, sticker says it's from 2008. She's been on here a while. She's not gonna go very easily. And you can see up in here that the sticker started to darken. That's actually what we want. And I just want to get one corner up. But as you're looking at it, that's going to tear. As you're looking at it, with this all burnt up, okay? See how this is all a lot darker than this side? With this all burnt up, that's why that's why I struggle with the cover art repair videos, because it's very easy to blacken and darken your cover art when you're using heat. It's very easy to do. You do it with the sticker, it's going to do it with the paper. Do another round of heat, see where we get. See? So it's, you know, if I give instructions on how to use a heat gun, it's very important to watch what you're doing and to really pay attention, because we're essentially just burning the label. Yeah, we're getting some ink separation on there, which figures. I'd really like this to come up clean, even though it's got mold. I really would like this to come up clean. The other question is, why not just use lower heat for longer? Which is also an option. You're starting to just get in the world of, you know, do you want to take all day? We're getting some tearing. Do you want to take all day working on it, or do you want to get the majority of it removed? Yeah, we're getting some separation here. See if we can't just get a good amount of this up. Hey, just use GooGone. Well, the label is going to prevent your GooGone from getting to the adhesive. The label's very thick, so as you try to apply the GooGone, it's not necessarily going to come up that easy. You have to get to this white paper that we're on right now and start to saturate that. So the label can be burnt, you know, no problem. It can be charred up, no problem, because I'm not really dealing with the adhesive yet. I'm just dealing with the plastic of the label. So it's kind of a protective coating for the adhesive underneath. So you gotta get to the white underbelly. Since I'm not using the book like I should be, instead I'm just applying pressure to the top as much as I can. See how far this can go. You also notice I don't try to apply heptane to a Q-tip over top of the item I'm working on. That's just because you can run the risk of getting some droplets on whatever it is you're working on. So try not to do that. Yeah, we got a little bit of tearing on here. Probably right where the mold is. Yeah, right where the, I don't know if you can see that, right where the mold peaks is where we're getting separation on the ink side. Figures, you know, that, yeah, obviously. Does not surprise me in the least. Which I bet, had I been smart and measured it, I betcha this sticker went as high as the water damage on the back did. Which that sticker just kind of acts as almost a guide for the water damage to kind of like crease up because it has a more structured surface. So the water starts to creep up. Your capillary action is always going to be exacerbated and hurried up because it has a solid surface. So if you have a piece of paper that's lying flat on a surface, the water is going to crawl along that a lot more easier than if it's going to just crawl straight up on a freestanding piece of paper. That's just how capillary action works. So we're going to do another round of heat, see if I can't remove this bottom part. There's a lot of separation coming from this side right here. So I'm going to try to work my way from the left over. I'm leaving the excess tail here so that I have a little bit to work with, and it's also going to be a good indicator of when I get to the right heat. Yeah, and you can see it starting to spot. See these little tiny spots that are forming? You can see that one right there. Yeah, that just means that it's getting cooked. If we can pull off the paper, and that'll expose a lot more of this, which is what we want. What am I doing with my? Hey, I'm still in the shot. Look at me go. Why did I switch tools? Because this one gives me a lot more of a rolling picking action than the other tool does. The other tool is really good at being a very sharp, precise edge. So it's flat like this and it grinds in, but that angle is so high that a lot of times it's hard for it to get under something. And you can't really reduce the angle. You can increase the angle, but you can't reduce the angle. What's nice about these little tools is that I can heavily reduce the angle or increase the angle just by adjusting how I'm holding it. We'll do a little bit more heptane. And just put heptane just on where you're working. You know, you don't want to soak your items in heptane. You don't want to soak the whole dang thing in it. Just work on where you are working. Because this stuff dries quick, and a lot of times it'll be dry. Yeah. I mean, that's good and that's bad, but a lot of times it'll be dry, you know, long before you even get to that area. So could I do heat again? Sure. Why am I not? Oh, partially because this sticker residue is very thin and the heat gun is very warm, and I don't necessarily want to bite off more than I can chew. I could hold the heat gun further back, but remember, this paper already had some damage. So, you know, minimal contact is kind of what we're looking for here. You know, we don't want to beat the hell out of anything we don't have to. And I get it. Like, I get that this is not as exciting as what some people probably want out of a repair video. Oh, that's tearing too. Yeah. that's tearing, and that's tearing, and that's tearing. I get that this is not necessarily as exciting as what people want from a repair video. You know, but I saw the final product for a second. Yep. That's fine. That's fine. It's just the water damage, which is frustrating, but that's how it works. So what we're doing now is we're just going over and removing any of the loose exposed adhesive that's floating around. Yeah, that's about all I want to do with that. Yeah, so let me zoom back out. So you can see the water damage goes to about here, and if you look on the back side, get something to... The old measuring stick. So the water damage goes to about here. And if you flip it over, it's about the same. That happens. That happens with mold. So we'll let that hang out, cool off, and chill out for a second. And we'll take a shot at its new case. Give it a wipe down on the front. A lot of times these half-price book stickers come up just from, you know, saturating them a little bit. Come here. Sometimes. Heptane on this one. That should peel it up right away. Maybe. What's that noise? You don't want to go. Must be a newer. No, 2019. Here we go. There we go. I missed. That's all right. These squeeze bottles. And that's the thing, is that, like, that's me rushing. Because I'm partially frustrated at how that cover art turned out. I knew it was going to turn out like that, but I'm still... I don't know. I take it very personally, I guess. Because, like, I want to save every single cover art, but that one was covered in mold, but just because it was covered in mold doesn't mean it's not worth saving. You know, that old chestnut. But this is what I do, is that I'll clean something, and then if something goes wrong, in my mind, it's hard to take a step back and be like, well, yes, this messed up, or yes, that messed up, but it's not a big deal because, the majority of it looks good. it's still frustrating overall. So there's that. Show you another neat trick. Like, look at me rushing. This is terrible. Squirt it inside there. Close her down. And this is a good way to clean out the inside. Now the front. Okay. These old Amaray cases, I swear, they don't make them like I used to. Something on my desk is making weird noise. We'll figure that out later. But I mean, this is also how it goes, is that I'll be cleaning something and then, you know, like one thing goes wrong and then suddenly I'm like, forget it. I don't clean anymore. I'm just gonna send all my stuff to WADA. I'm done. Okay, so we got our manuals. Those back in there. We have our disc. Pop that little guy back in there. And then our cover art, which honestly looks okay. It looks fine. I'm so dramatic sometimes. Don't say anything. I know I'm dramatic. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what Kessen would look like if it existed 22 years later. I mean, it does, but you know. So there's that. Hopefully Kessen II doesn't have moldy issues. Let's see what we got. And these are the games. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break down. We'll strip this one, put it in the patent pending game storage location. Take this out. Please no mold, please no mold. A little dirt, a little shelfware. So this spot's interesting. Zoom. Even the camera won't recognize it. A little blue spot right there. It looks like water damage, but it still has the matte finish to it. So that's kind of a good way to tell when it's not water damage. If it still has the same gloss as the rest of the cover art does. I'm just shoving my face into the cover art to see. The dark line that you see right there, I doubt the camera's picking that up, but there's a dark line just on the edge there. What that comes from is when the cover art sticks out too far. So see how the cover art is a little white there? That's just from when the cover art sticks out too far and gets all mangled and boogered up. So this case ain't half bad. There's a couple issues here and there. Nothing terrible. Let's see how far we can get. So let that soak in for a second. Clean some of these sides. If I had a big bulk amount of these to do, what I probably would have done is did a big bathtub soak or a sink soak, just kind of depending on what it was that I had to clean. Since I only had a couple, I said, what the heck? Am I on camera? Hey, I'm on camera. All right. Now this, yeah, that's adhesive. Hang on. Oh, he never likes using GooGone. He always complains and he says dude shouldn't be using GooGone because it's bad. And okay. Well, GooGone is good for a lot of things. One of the reasons I like GooGone is it's a glycol base. And you hear me say that a lot, and you go, what does that mean? Well, basically, just fighting with my lights today, basically, it means that it's thick. It's got thickness to it. And what that thickness does is that thickness allows the adhesive remover to just sit on the surface of whatever it is that you're trying to remove it and just stay thick and chunky. And sometimes I need that because then that'll just stay and it'll help remove the residues. See? Heptane wouldn't do that, okay? Heptane would go on there and any residue that it could try to get rid of, it would, and it would release residues quickly. But it's a single chain alkane, so what that means is a lot of different things. One of its properties is that heptane dries fast. This stuff dries really, really fast. GooGone does not dry as fast because of the glycol. Well, because of the glycol and a couple different fillers that they have in it. But that means that I can use GooGone to just hang out on the surface for a little bit and let it do its thing. Same thing on here, okay? And I will show you. I figured that wouldn't stay up. So I will put on Heptane. I will get in the shot, and I will put on Heptane. Okay? And then I'll show you that it doesn't really remove the material like I want it to. So I'm sitting there and scrubbing. And it's removing it. It's doing an okay job, but it's a lot of scrubbing on my part. And it's just smearing everything around. Okay. Switch to the old GooGone. And I just dab it on. There's some smearing up here, and I dab this on, and I can go pretty liberally with it. Let it sit for a second. One Mississippi, and then I come in and I wipe the majority of it off. Okay. There's no scrubbing. I don't have to sit here and agitate and scrub and do all this nonsense. GooGone will put a very thin haze or shadow on polyethylene sleeves. This is a polyethylene sleeve. Let me zoom out. This is a polyethylene sleeve, okay? My hand's behind polyethylene. GooGone will cause polyethylene to have a little bit of a hazy shimmer to it. So in cases where I want a really, really clean and clear case, well, maybe don't go for the GooGone. Maybe go for the Heptane. In situations where that doesn't really matter, yeah, see? There's all this residue down here. I had my GooGone. I let it hang out for a second. One alligator. And it wipes up. Cool. Now for this guy, man, but I put GooGone on it. Dang. Well, I put GooGone on it, but the GooGone can't really penetrate underneath as much as it wants to. Okay, because of the glycol, because of what makes this thick, because of that, it makes it so that it can't soak under the sticker as much as I want it to. Now, using mechanical force, I can get it under there. But this is where Heptane, and again, I encourage people to not mix and match, but I know that these two don't really interact together too much. Using Heptane and scraping, see how that just immediately comes up? And then I apply more Heptane, and another row immediately comes up. Since Heptane is thinner, it'll go a lot easier and faster underneath the paper. So what I can do is add a little Heptane. This is where we get ambidextrous on you. Add a little Heptane, and then add a little more, and just work our way down. Now, you'll see that there's this gap that's opened up down here. What's this gap from? Well, that gap is from the GooGone, actually, where the GooGone has started to get underneath slowly by soaking into the paper. It has gotten underneath and is starting to get towards the adhesive. So you could, if you didn't have Heptane and you just had GooGone, you could just put GooGone on top of the sticker and let it soak. And come back 10, 15 minutes later and remove everything. You can totally do that, totally works. But in the interest of, I'm trying to make this video, and I'm trying to clean this stuff, a lot of times I switch to Heptane just because it's faster. Two reasons. One, because it's faster, and two, because it's not going to shadow the polyethylene sleeve as much. Just a little bit right there. So rule of thumb, this one, if you're dealing with exposed adhesive and it's thick and it's not doing what you want it to, it's not removing, Heptane's not removing it, everybody's ignoring you, they're all gonna laugh at you. You can take GooGone and let it soak on there and it'll get it right up. If it's a sticker with some paper, these kinds of stickers and stuff, if you let GooGone soak, GooGone will get through the surface enough for you to be able to clean it up. This is why I'm not team GooGone and I'm not necessarily team Heptane one way or the other, because they both have their benefits and they both have their flaws. I made a PSP video where I strictly use GooGone. I made a PSP video where I strictly use Heptane. So they each have their own different uses and their own different functions. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other, this is the best way. I will tell you when these ways won't work. But, between GooGone and Heptane, it's kind of a toss-up. It really depends on what you have available, what you're comfortable with using, what you're familiar with. So this one looks good. I should also note before, get back on camera, before I started doing all of this, this feels a little damp, but it also just might be a little stiff. Got a little bit of wrinkling on the side here. Not terrible though. Before I did all of this, these were all sanitized using the power of UV. They were all sanitized, and then they'll all get a bit of a clean. This looks good. Yeah, it does look fine. Just some scratches, but When I did a function test, it worked. It's not a disk cleaning video, so we're not going to show you that it functions. Oh, cover art. 500 soldiers on screen at once. 5 times more than the original. That's a lot of soldiers. All right. Pop this little bad boy back in. Kessens. There you go. Good thumbnail image. Or wait. Let me fix that. There, whatever. That's really your bread and butter of what you will run into when it comes to PlayStation 2s. Got lots of videos on these methods. We show these often, and I'll keep doing these videos too. And I've had a couple of people ask me about ASMR videos. I am working on those. The problem is making it so I don't make noise. But we'll get to those as well. As always, I appreciate every single one of you watching. I appreciate all the comments. I still try to reply to every single comment possible. I'm on all the Discords, all the restoration Discords, cleaning Discords, everything else. ELDOUG if you have any questions or anything. Still making more videos. If you have a video that I haven't done or I haven't said is in progress, let me know. I will do those videos as well. I have a giant backlog, but I always want to get everything added to the list because I will film 4 or 5 videos in a row. So leave a comment down below telling me what you thought about Kessen 1 and Kessen 2 and what you thought about the other games that are similar to this. I always really liked these. Kessen was not my first PlayStation 2 game. I have a video where I actually clean what was my first PlayStation 2 game. What was your first PlayStation 2 game? I think that's always the interesting thing. The PlayStation 2 library when it came out was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. So I love hearing what people played and what they experienced first with their PlayStation 2. I also knew a couple of people who didn't have any games for it. They just used it for DVDs. That happens too. It was a crazy time. But we survived Y2K, and that's what really matters. So until next time, thanks everyone for all the comments, all the conversations, all the cleaning. If you got any questions or anything, let me know. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of this nonsense. And if you like this video, hit me a like. I look at what is liked and what is not liked, and that helps me figure out what you guys do and don't want to see more of. So hit a like on this one if you like it. If you hate it, leave me a comment and tell me what you'd rather see. I got some GameCubes and GameCube games to clean after this, so I'm going to get back to cleaning. All right, see you guys.